This is Florida Natural Farming at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. And I think I want to talk about plants as medicine today. I was going through the videos, looking at the least watched videos, and it really surprised me that plants as medicine was like one of the least watched videos of my videos, and I never had looked at that before. And they're not only medicine, but if you're growing plants and stuff, you become part of the plant because you're breathing it in. They're breathing you in. Everything is connected. My health is like, it's, I have thyroid issues, and people try to come by here and get tours, and they always want to come at 3 o'clock. And so I make a point of saying, no, it's 9 a.m. And, but I made an exception, and it was too much for me in the heat of the day for a 3-hour tour. I wasn't drinking enough, and it really kind of wiped me out. And I lost my creative juices. And what got me feeling better was I drank medicinal fruit leaf teas that I make here. I've been making for a while. And I watched Dan Permaculture Food Forest, and I was just looking for inspiration, and his channel always gives me inspiration. And so, thank you, Dan. And so I'm gonna go look at the bananas. Just looking at these rare aroids. So the news is so horrible. This, people, these like, I don't know, it's like tribe wars. And Black people have had it really bad since they were brought here. And I can't believe that we're still beating them down. I kind of know a little bit about it because I'm gay, and back in the early 80s and the 70s, it was like common practice to go and beat up gay people. And I was living in Hollywood, and it was pretty bad. Thankfully, I had a lot of people that would like be on the lookout for this. I ended up marrying a captain in the Marine Corps. And 36 years later, lieutenant colonel, and retired. And we had to like hide. Or we'd be rooted out. So like, I don't know, it just, when does it end? And I just can't help but think that it's the food system and the pollution that causes a lot of these issues. And it's the way we grow food. And the endorsement and subsidizing of pollution into our environment by our government. Just, I see where things are going, and it's like, I can see our rights are going to be taken away. Certain people have their ways, and I just don't understand why people can't be left alone and to be who they are. They're not hurting anybody. But that's just how I feel. I just wanted to get that out there and say I'm sorry for all the suffering that people go through, and I don't like it, and it affects me, so that's why I haven't been making videos. It's just like, oh. But it's the food. We're feeding people insecticides and herbicides and nitrogen and protein and sewage sludge. Oh, chemicals in the air. Just like, it's a real problem. So I'm gonna go look at the bananas. Try to get off this. So we don't even water here. I do water around the house here, the Licula palm. I'm trying to get seeds off of it, and it does make stuff look a little fluffy, because it could look very drought-like, because it's going through a drought right now, but nothing else is watered. None of these Heliconias are watered, and none of the fruit trees are watered, and they produce fruit. Oh, the organic certifying thing. That's stress too. I don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to continue being organic certified. It's just like, there's just never any growth in the grocery stores around here for organic products. And it seems like the organic brand has been taken over by the chemical industry. That's why you got hydroponic organic stuff now. And it's kind of, I don't really believe in that. And people know how I grow. So I've kind of created a brand. People know that I'm like paranoid about using water from wells in Florida because it's probably polluted. So that's why I don't do it. And the rainwater could be polluted, but being on the coast here, it's probably less likely chance that it's as polluted as some areas inland, different states. But none of this stuff is even looked at or talked about, and they keep pushing the old NPK formula to grow plants. I believe everything in Florida can be grown very easily if you have an undisturbed soil. So if this was a lawn for 50 years, so it's highly compacted, 55 years to be exact. Or maybe it's 57 because I did continue mowing it for 2 years. So it was a lawn for like 57 years. Probably not so much in the early 60s as it is from the 80s on. That's when they started going hog wild with their spraying glyphosate. This is really dry here. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it looks really dry. For some reason in the morning, everything's kind of fluffy because it's still cool. The cacao tree is fine. Just, dry farm cacao. We have about 30 cacao. This is our oldest one. This is a seed from a fruit tree that I fruited in Florida. And this has produced fruit, and I have seedling trees that I'm going to plant out this year from this. Not very many. It produced 5 fruit for the first time from seed in 5 years. So, and then we have a lot of other littler ones planted throughout, younger. 2 different types. All seed grown, dry farmed in Florida. So nobody's getting any nutrients from the food because of the poisons, the chemicals that they put in to the grow operations to grow these food crops. Nitrogen, bug spray, weed killer. and a little plant material. So, you know, when you use chemicals to grow plants, the plant succumbs to the disease and pest pressures. When plants are grown naturally, they have the natural ability to withstand changes in the environment. Imagine that. A plant knows how to grow. But when we apply our grow methods onto the plant will succumb to disease. And if you're growing them in your house with chemicals, you're probably going to be breathing those chemicals in. There's a little cacao. Want some rain. That's seed-grown cacao, and it's about a year in the ground. Looks okay. As soon as we get some rain, it should pop right up, I would think. There's this big problem with the colleges and the people that teach organic growing. A lot of them, that manure is the enemy and it needs to be composted, and the only composting method they accept is the thermophilic compost. Thermophilic compost doesn't really make a very good compost. Small aged piles of compost. 2-year-old compost. Unwatered. Small piles. Low, small piles on the ground. Makes the best compost. Bananas are looking good. So we got about 150 bananas I've planted. I was, eyeing some up to see if I need to divide them, because I remove all the suckers and plant them out. When they get a certain size, I let one of them grow, one of the suckers, and these are all dry farmed, low input. So I haven't put any manure around any of these. But it's got this orchard floor that's it's like a compost in place from the old winter freeze, and then the grass underneath, and then not mowing it and not walking on it. It's like a real healthy soil. I buried some of my biodynamic corn in here because this particular area has just been hard to grow stuff in. And it seems to be working, because those bananas, they don't seem like they're suffering from any water shortage. Even the black sapote isn't. The mangoes are gonna be a little bit, and it wasn't the best year. Which is okay. I mean, more than half of our trees are 2-year-old trees from 3 gallons, like this one. Quite big, considering it's never been watered, from a tiny 3-gallon. So plants that are grown naturally in a soil managed for fungal health. are going to probably have more nutrients and be beneficial to your health than any disturbed system. People get hung up on looking for a fix, like a perennial peanut or something, but yeah, plant your perennial peanut, but plant your gingers and leave the weeds alone. One thistle growing here all by itself. This guava tree, I mean, dry farmed guava. This thing never stops producing. It's like, looks like it's gonna do a real big crop. Seems like it does a real huge crop in the spring, and then the fruit get bigger and the crops get smaller till winter comes along. Still produces quite a few. I mean, it's getting to be a fairly large tree, so did not get hit by the freeze. Thistles. So it's the chachas, dry farmed chachas, they do good. They don't, all the Garcinias, I honestly don't think they need any water at all, ever. But you gotta pay attention to disturbance. You can't just like disturb the system. Disturbing the system just releases nutrients. Unintended release of nutrients is what it does. I think Florida is amazing that you can just plant these trees here and just walk away, for the most part. People have been contacting me about real estate. I love real estate. I got here by flipping houses for 30 years, so it's like, and putting in giant gardens. I don't know, I always put in giant gardens, like acres of gardens. Except in New Orleans, I didn't have a huge yard ever there. Planting trees, Garcinia trees in Caesar weed is an excellent place, excellent nursery for your young achachas. Same with pepper trees, but pepper trees can really take over a system, so you have to manage them too much. The Caesar weed, you know it's good soil because they're super nitrogen accumulators. And they only get so high, and then they like die back in the winter a little bit, or a lot, like as you can see here. Get me out of here. I thought this tree had a lot of mangoes on it, but it looks like somebody's been stealing them. Creature, I'm sure. There's some. Smells like something died over here. Yeah, there's some mangoes. I think this is a Floragon mango. So here's a pretty good big achacha tree. So this is one of our nursery bought achacha trees. And it's the only one we never watered of the nursery trees, ever. And it's the biggest one. I find that it's always been the biggest one. In fact, I'm sure it's probably going to produce fruit next year. It's getting the side branches and it's getting big enough. As soon as we get some rain, it'll probably pop. Looks okay. It's not gonna die. Garcinias grow really well here. I could see them being a very bad invasive species here. Look at these mushrooms that grow throughout our soil during drought. They're probably harvesting the moisture being released by the dead plant material, the carbon. Fungi deliver clean nutrients to plants, and our agriculture systems don't even consider them. Very little bit. They're starting to, but they like to pick the ones that speed growth or stuff like that. So they'll pick and apply the mycelium they think is important. Because none of the other, most of it has never been looked at. So they just completely disregard it. Oh, it's really scary what people will do to get people's money. It's a big old freaking black sapote. Looks like it's got some fruit set on here. This is all galangal ginger. We got a lot of it. People seem to be interested in gingers. Heliconias, these are the heliconias that I divided this winter and never been watered. They seem fine. Of course, the ones that were there during the freeze froze. Probably if I gave these each of these bananas some manure, they'd take off. But they seem to be doing okay. Sure got a lot of them. They're all ice cream bananas. That's my favorite. I planted about 6 different types at my original food forest, where I got my first cacao fruiting. The parent plants of my cacao I have growing here now. But I like this one the best, the ice cream banana. So that's the one I got. I still like it. We just finished off a bunch of bananas, but I don't think we have any banana fruit. Some Heliconias looking good. I don't think we have any bananas flowering or with fruit on them at the moment, which is kind of odd, but I guess probably that freeze prevented that, would be my guess. things are looking good. Jackfruit should be fruiting soon. But I kind of wonder if it's going to be like a lot of the mangoes that just didn't even flower, which for here that's very, very rare. Though, like I said, most of them are just from 3 gallon, 2 years in the ground. So there's some in there. We got some mangoes. Haven't eaten a couple here and there. Nice car. 35 miles an hour. I'm sure there's a lot of fucking speeders on this road. Oh well. Oh well. What are you gonna do? People keep eating the chemicals, not getting the nutrients they need, not growing plants as medicine, polluting the environment, and fighting amongst ourselves. Oh. It's going to take the UN to sue the big chemical pharmaceutical companies. They're the only ones that, or maybe the European Union, I would guess, perhaps, maybe not. I don't know. But California probably, yeah, they'll do it, I get. But we gotta switch them off, have them finance the transition to a cleaner society, and pay attention to what everyone's eating, because I don't see it getting better. I don't see organic growing that much. I see movement amongst my community because people that watch my station are into the same issues mostly as I am. So, but it's just, I mean, all I have to do is go to the grocery stores and see, oh, no advancement, no larger section of organic. Oh, people don't buy it. Yeah, because you don't stock it. So people don't go there to get it. That's why. Anyway. It's all so sad. This is Florida Natural Farming at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm. And I hope you have a beautiful day.